This is the Fertile Mindset podcast, where we explore all the emotional aspects of fertility to support you on your path to parenthood. My name is Sarah Holland. I'm the Fertile Mindset coach and a mother to 2 children after my own fertility challenges. I hope you find all the support and inspiration you need within this podcast to carry you forward on your fertility journey towards your own successful outcome. It's also my wish that through listening to these episodes, you rediscover how to enjoy life now and live it to the full while you wait for your baby. Now, let's begin today's episode. Hello and welcome back to another episode of the Fertile Mindset podcast. Now, first things first, because it starts in just a few days now, I want to make sure that you, my lovely podcast listeners, have secured your free place at my upcoming challenge, 5 Days to Fertility Calm. It starts on Monday, the 13th of September, and if you're wanting to learn how to easily and effectively work through and beyond all the difficult emotions on a fertility journey, then this 5-day experience is definitely for you. It's honestly one of my most favourite ways to share the fertile mindset support that I offer, and it's open to absolutely everyone. Whatever fertility issues or treatment that you are facing, wherever in the world you are, and it's completely free of charge. I only run this challenge 2 to 3 times a year, so don't miss out on taking part this time. Just go to fertilemindset.com/5 days. That's number 5 days. And I look forward to getting to know you and to support you over the 5 days. Now back to the podcast and what I'm going to talk about and share with you today. Firstly, I am so happy that you are here, listening in today, looking for how to feel truly supported and emotionally strong on your fertility journey. What I think I know about you and everyone who listens to this podcast is that you are interested in the emotional aspects of fertility. You are prioritizing them, and you want to have a calmer, clearer mind as you wait for your baby. Many people tell me that they discovered me and all my fertile mindset support when they were looking for solutions to the stress around fertility issues. And what happens when we start to uncover, acknowledge, and then resolve and release the stress, the negative emotional aspects of our fertility journey, is that the stress and the negative feelings and thoughts have less of a hold on us. We no longer feel ruled by our emotions or by negative thoughts and beliefs. And what this means is that we can become much more present with what is currently happening right now, and less focused on the regrets or sadness of the past, or fears or uncertainty about the future. When we release all that we don't need, every stressful thought, feeling or belief, what we are doing is surrendering. We're noticing that we don't need to have a tight hold on everything. Our fertility situation doesn't need to take over every thought we have. We can release that hold, we can surrender, and it feels so good to do that. But let's dial back a bit first. The word surrender, the idea of surrendering, is uncomfortable to many, and we associate it with giving up, which is the last thing that we want to do. We may say that we want to give up or have a break from all things fertility when we're in a low place. But actually giving up as a long-term strategy is not possible if we want to stay focused on doing all we can to become pregnant and give birth to a healthy baby. So how can surrendering even work on a fertility journey? Well, first, let's get clear on the fact that surrendering does not mean giving up. In fact, it's the best thing you could do for yourself when you don't want to give up. Surrendering can be the most comfortable, the most sustainable way to be, and then also help you develop a mindset and perspective that is perfectly aligned for success on your fertility journey. Surrendering can help you notice the opportunities, be open to opportunities, and be more connected to that inner knowing, that internal nudge you get when something feels right and which helps you make good decisions. When we resist surrendering, we end up controlling, trying to plan to the last detail and fool ourselves that we have complete control over the situation. It gives us a false sense of security, and we know it's not real, and this leads to us feeling anxious about our controlling and planning. Does any of that sound familiar to you? I know that many people tell me that they feel this way on a fertility journey. It's when things feel or indeed are out of our control that we ramp up the need to plan, predict and control even more, thinking that that is the solution. that then we will feel safe and we will be certain of the outcome we want. So people come to me saying, I need to feel less stressed, less anxious about every aspect of my fertility. I'm constantly wondering if I'm doing everything I should be and worried that I've missed something vital. What they really need to do and are asking me to help them with is to surrender to their fertility journey. Let's face it, none of us are prepared to deal with fertility issues when we first try for a baby. It's unknown territory and we don't have a clue how to navigate our way through it. It's a bit like when the coronavirus pandemic hit. The last pandemic on this scale was 100 years ago, so not in any of our living memories, and we didn't know what to do, did we? I still feel, getting close to 2 years now, that we are still learning how to live through and get out of a pandemic. In fact, when things feel worrying, or I'm aware I'm reading too many news stories about COVID, I will remind myself that the whole world is doing this for the first time. It's all new ground and we're all finding our way through this. And it does make me feel calmer, with less need to know and control everything. It helps me stay present with what I know and be open and ready for whatever happens next, whether that's been another lockdown, schools closing, or any other twist this journey has taken. And that's what can be so supportive on a fertility journey too. Taking it one day at a time, living your life in the meanwhile, and trusting that whatever happens, you'll be okay. In the last podcast, episode number 38, fertility coach Julia Midwinter talked about her own experience of having fertility issues and IVF and said this.
I can generally say this, in all honesty, I went into my final cycle just completely in acceptance of what the outcome was going to be. I just thought, I don't know what's going to happen, but I actually do believe it's possible for me to get pregnant and have a full-term baby this time. But if it doesn't happen, then that's okay. There is an alternative. And just to have that weight lifted off me, that pressure of it's got to work, I can't believe this isn't working, was amazing. And I think it released such a lot of tension within me physically as well. And that final cycle obviously was the one that gave me my son. So just truly grateful.
Now, I love Julia shared how it felt to surrender and how different it made the experience of that final IVF cycle for her. She said it felt amazing. And that is important. It's so important for us to value the experience we have while we wait for our baby, as well as focusing on the end result of conceiving. Now, Julia and others have said that they believe the act of surrendering or creating a mindset to support their fertility did lead them to successfully conceiving their baby. And whilst that is also amazing, my first priority is always for the woman, the person going through the fertility struggles, the treatment, the waiting and the uncertainty. How do they feel? And how is it impacting on their emotional well-being and mental health? And if learning how to surrender on your fertility journey supports your well-being and mental health, then for that reason alone, it is absolutely worth exploring and embracing. Before we talk about how to do this, I want to share another example of surrender on a fertility journey from another big fan of EFT and mindset work, the best-selling author and self-professed spirit junkie, Gabby Bernstein. Back in 2017, she spoke at Oprah's Super Soul Sessions on the art of surrender. Gabby began her talk by describing how on New Year's Day of 2015, she had a plan to get pregnant. Her plan was that she would get pregnant right away, finding out the very next month in February, and she'd then use the entire 9 months of her pregnancy to write a book. She would then give birth to her baby, submit the book, and take 3 months off, returning to go on a book tour. She said it felt like the perfect plan, but she didn't get pregnant right away, and in the months that followed, she was always looking ahead, counting 9 months into the future and planning out and making constant changes to her schedule, so it would be aligned with the pregnancy. Gabby said she was driving herself crazy, trying to control something that could not be controlled. She also joked that during this time, she told her friends and family that she was consciously conceiving, but all she was doing was consciously controlling every detail. Gabby then goes on to share how it felt to continue to try to control every aspect of her fertility journey. not feeling good enough, comparing herself to others, and noticing how she'd spent all that time trying to make it happen until the day came when she asked the universe for help. She said she heard the voice of her inner wisdom, her intuition telling her it was time to surrender, and she then channeled and wrote down the 5 steps for spiritual surrender. I'm going to include the link to this 19-minute video on YouTube on the podcast page at fertilemindset.com/episode-039 so you can hear Gabby's story and her 5 steps for yourself. What I'd like to give you now are my 3 tips for using EFT to make surrendering a natural, supportive practice on your fertility journey. Before I share these, I want to direct you to a couple of ways to learn how to do EFT if you don't already know how to. It's a simple technique to pick up and start using, and one way, the best way to learn EFT right now, if you're listening to this podcast on its release day or soon after, is by joining me in my free challenge, 5 Days to Fertility Calm. It starts on Monday the 13th of September and runs for 5 days, Monday to Friday. So if you are listening to this before or during that window, go register for free at fertilemindset.com/5days. Another option to learn EFT is to listen to episode 20 of this podcast, which teaches you EFT and also has a round of EFT tapping that you can tap along with at 17 minutes 33. So, on with my tips for using EFT for surrendering. The first tip is to notice when you are trying to control something on your fertility journey and use EFT to tap on the emotion that is driving this. Only address one specific thing at a time, so it may be that you're charting your cycle and feeling frustrated that an ovulation isn't showing yet when it really should be. In this example, you would tap on the frustration you feel and how you want to see an ovulation right now. How would it feel to accept your body and your cycle exactly how it is right now and trusting in its wisdom? This is where surrender can take you. The second tip is to notice when you are blaming yourself or anyone else or anything for your fertility struggles. When we assign blame, we are far from surrendering and can feel stuck with the emotion of blame and our sense of entitlement to feel angry towards ourselves, or someone, or something else. Are you blaming anyone or anything for your fertility issues, and what emotion is attached to this? Tap on the emotion and allow yourself to release the need to point fingers or blame and instead surrender to and accept what is. And lastly, my third tip is to simply tap on how it feels to surrender. Like I said at the start, there's a common misconception that surrendering means giving up, like you don't care and are no longer invested in conceiving your baby. None of this is true, but if we believe it to be, we will resist surrendering and try to keep an even tighter hold. Using EFT, tap on whatever your belief is around surrendering and see what else opens up for you. Going back to Gabby Bernstein now, you may already know that she did conceive her baby, a baby boy called Ollie, and she often now talks about the journey she went on to bring him to her. I also believe that surrendering brought both of my babies to me, and my second baby boy came to us through adoption instead of conception. When I chose to surrender to the journey of welcoming our second baby, this led to me feeling so comfortable and accepting of whatever route he came to us. And when that was adoption, there was no sadness or regret in any way. It simply felt right, how it was meant to be, and the transition from trying to conceive to applying to adopt felt smooth and seamless. Surrendering can take you in so many directions, even the ones you didn't expect, and especially the ones you don't control. I asked my Instagram followers what surrendering on a fertility journey meant to them, and they told me it meant accepting things as they are, accepting that I can't control this, letting go and trusting the universe, feeling a sense of calm and peace, being flexible and trusting, and having a quiet confidence and optimism about their future. I see surrender as the surfer and their relationship with the waves. Do they fight or try to control the waves? Of course not, because they know they can't. They work with them, use their energy, and find a state of flow as each wave approaches. The same could be said for any creative or artistic activity, writing or painting. To be truly creative and make something remarkable, the writer or artist needs to take themselves out of their head and let go of the need to control. By releasing any conflicting thoughts, which could be called writer's block, they allow the flow to come through and just be with what is, rather than wanting or expecting or demanding something else. This way, there is less struggle and more flow and creativity. Wouldn't that be a wonderful place to be on your fertility journey? If you would like to work on surrendering with me by your side or on any other emotional aspect of your fertility, I would really love you to join me at 5 Days to Fertility Calm, which starts on Monday, the 13th of September. During the 5 days, I share short videos to guide you through resolving 5 key emotional aspects of your fertility, one each day. I also host a live Q&A session each day, so you can ask me absolutely anything, and it all takes place in a private group on Facebook where your privacy is taken very seriously and there is so much support and love available. I'd love you to join us, and the link for one last time is fertilemindset.com/5days. So that's it for today on the topic of surrendering to your fertility journey. I'll be back next Thursday with another podcast episode, and hopefully I'll see you before then at 5 Days to Fertility Calm. Take care and see you soon. I'm so pleased you're listening to the Fertile Mindset podcast, and now I would love to invite you to join us in the Fertile Mindset Sanctuary. The Sanctuary is my fertility support membership, which is focused on taking care of you and helping you enjoy your life while you wait for your baby. In the Sanctuary, I'll guide you through using an amazing technique called EFT or tapping, and you'll soon be feeling less stressed and more joyful. If you're not already in the Sanctuary, do come and join us today, because the best time to start receiving support on your fertility journey is always right now. Honestly, it makes such a difference to have good quality emotional support and techniques that you can pick up and use yourself whenever you need them. Go to fertilemindset.com/sanctuary to join us today. I look forward to hopefully seeing you there and at the next episode of the Fertile Mindset podcast.